there's the church of Dormition that we just came out of. Here's our group coming in. But there's so many groups, and we're going into the door of the upper room. It's very crowded here today. We're 120. That's the original number of people that came in the upper room. If you remember, here's our group. And this is the upper room, the cenacle. Now that our group has passed through here and it's settled down a little, I wanted to show you what we're having for lunch here at the Jewish kibbutz. This is the salad tray and all the breads are there. The desserts are a little skimpy now, but boy, 10 minutes ago that was full. And then we have all the buffet line, of course. It's all great with spaghetti and anything you want to drink. So here's our group now, out here having lunch and having a good time. And now we're on our way to Peter and Gallicantu when we leave here. Here's our drivers and local guys. Lunch, we go to the promenade with the most beautiful overview of Jerusalem. While we're here, I give a 25-minute talk called The Overview of Salvation History. That was a prefigurement of the Eucharist. The Catechism is so clear on it. Melchizedek was the priest bringing out bread and wine from the Eucharistic city of Jerusalem. And our good priests who are with us today, they are not priests according to the order of Aaron or Levi among the Jews. They are priests according to the order of this mysterious figure named Melchizedek. So their priesthood does not just go back to Jesus, it goes all the way back 4,000 years to Melchizedek, who was the first priest of the Most High God that we know of, who was here in Salem and brought out bread and wine. Well, Abram goes... because they know something's happening. There's messianic fever so thick you can cut it with a knife. All the editorials in the papers were about this Jesus and John and who is... But anyway, then Jesus comes down and is baptized by John and goes back up into the Galilee area. 3 years of ministry. He only came down here when he had to come down here for the festivals. He had to come down here for Passover. Then you'd go back to Jerusalem. But then he came down one time and it was the Palm Sunday. He was with Mary and Martha and Lazarus over there. He raised Lazarus from the dead. And the Jews were so angry that he'd raised him from the dead that there was this evidence of his divinity that they were trying to kill Lazarus. Can you imagine? Jesus comes across the Mount of Olives. He comes down over the side. He picks up a donkey halfway between Bethany and the top of this. A little village named Bethphage. He picks up a donkey. And he comes over the top of the Mount of Olives. And then we're at those little gold domes. The sun's going down, so it's harder to see them. But kind of down on the Mount of Olives, as it's sloping down to the left, there's those gold domes. Near there, you can't see it from here really, but there's a little church that's built in the shape of a teardrop, and it's called Dominus Flavit, the Lord Wept. Flavit, the Lord wept. And there Jesus was on his donkey, and he looked out over Jerusalem, and he wept over Jerusalem and said, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how often as a mother hen would I have gathered you under my wings, but you would have me not. Therefore, not one stone will be left upon another, because you were not prepared for the day of your visitation. What did he mean by that? He's the one that created them in the beginning. He's the one that created them into a nation. He's the one that brought them into this land and gave it to them. He now came to visit them, and they rejected him. They tried to kill him. They said, Jesus said, if you were of your sons Abraham, you would do what your father Abraham did. But you were of your father the devil. What did their father Abraham do? Remember when Abraham was in his tent on midday and the three messengers came in Genesis 18? And he knew that they were the Lord. In fact, Rublev, the Russian painter, has made an icon of them, those three, and he calls it the Trinity. The Trinity had come down to see Abraham and to see if the wickedness of Sodom was as bad. And it said that Abraham jumped up and ran and killed the fatted calf and washed their feet and hurried to do this. And he just was hurry, rushing and running. It's so funny to read that chapter, how many times they do the run, rush, hurry. Abraham had great worship and running to serve the Lord, but when the Lord came to his descendants, they wanted to kill him. That's what he means, that you don't do what your father Abraham did. Father Abraham saw my day and rejoiced, but you're trying to kill me. After Jesus was tried by the Jewish high priest, he was lowered through this hole down into a cistern. In this picture shows how it may have happened with ropes and a harness to lower him down and pull him back up the next morning. This is the cistern, maybe full of water, in which he was lowered and kept in prison over Holy Thursday night. It almost seems certain that Psalm 88 is a prophetic psalm about this terrible event. After this, we went home for an hour before going to the Holy Sepulchre for a solemn entry into the tomb of Christ. But you'll have to watch the next video for that.